At Clash at the Castle in Scotland, Drew McIntyre's hometown. Drew McIntyre would take on Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship. Drew McIntyre had the match won, but the referee was knocked out as CM Punk would interfere as referee, count to 2, not allowing Drew McIntyre to pick up the win. He would hit a low blow on Drew McIntyre, allowing Priest to capitalize and retain his championship. Thus, WWE have set the seeds for a feud between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, as CM Punk has now been cleared to wrestle. Thus, I presume a match will take place between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk at SummerSlam, and I'm going to be booking the entire feud. Drew McIntyre comes out on the Raw following Clash at the Castle, which you've probably already seen by now, and he starts crying about how CM Punk cost him the title for a second time, how CM Punk is a cheater, he has no morality, he has no integrity for the sport, and just starts crying about Punk. He starts crying that Punk wasn't an official referee, that Punk cannot do something like this, and he just keeps crying and calling out Punk on Raw continuously, but Punk is just nowhere to be seen. It's almost as if Punk is ducking Drew McIntyre, and Drew is just really irritated. We see segments where Drew McIntyre has gone crazy. He's taking cardboard cutouts of CM Punk and lighting it on fire. He's throwing CM Punk merch into the sea. He's doing crazy stuff. He's gone mad. Eventually, Money in the Bank takes place in Toronto in Canada, and Drew McIntyre has had enough. He comes out before one of the matches could begin, and he just starts screaming that he's had enough of CM Punk. He wants CM Punk out here. He wants to fight CM Punk as soon as possible. And then he goes too far. He starts insulting CM Punk's wife, his dog, his family. Starts abusing CM Punk, calls him a drug addict, an alcoholic. Drew just goes too far. And then, from the crowd, emerges, as we all expect, CM Punk. He comes down with his arm brace. He tells Drew that if Drew understood that Punk wasn't medically cleared, he wouldn't be crying and whining, and if he was a true champion, he would have fought through it, and that he caused CM Punk hell, and now it's CM Punk's turn to make his life living hell. As CM Punk walks down to the ring, he tells Drew to stop crying about the fact that he lost, and he tells Drew that they will have a match as soon as Punk is cleared. And then Punk goes up to Drew, and he punches Drew McIntyre with the arm brace, hits a go to sleep, and screams on the mic that he's cleared. And he's cleared for SummerSlam. Thus the match is set. Drew McIntyre vs CM Punk, a feud a year in the making, ever since Punk returned to the WWE, and they will co-main event at SummerSlam. We get great promos between the two. Punk speaks about how Drew had a great start to his career, he was the chosen one, but now the only thing he's chosen for is a beating from CM Punk. We get some great back and forth exchanges leading to a match at SummerSlam. This will be a normal match between the two. The match goes normally as we would expect, probably like a solid match, maybe 15-17 minutes into the match. CM Punk has it won. He carries Drew McIntyre on his back. He's going for a go to sleep. He hits it, connects, but Drew McIntyre falls onto the referee. Vibes from Clash at the Castle, how the referee was knocked out. The referee gets knocked out of the ring, and Punk pins McIntyre 1, 2, and 3. But there's nobody to count it. Drew rolls outside the ring. Punk doesn't know what to do. Drew rolls out, he's ringside, and he's doing something. Nobody knows what he's doing. Punk, who's taken a mic now, screaming for a referee to come inside the ring and end this match, as Drew McIntyre runs in, hits a claymore with a steel chain attached to his foot. The referee comes at that moment itself, because that's what happens in all WWE matches, and he pins CM Punk and defeats him at SummerSlam. How the roles have reversed. And now it's Punk who's crying, whining that Drew McIntyre cheated. As Drew just laughs. He laughs at Punk every week. He said this is what revenge is. Revenge is at its best served cold. And Punk got it straight in his face as he took the Claymore and lost to McIntyre at SummerSlam. But Punk, he has his ways, and he gets a match against Drew McIntyre at Bash at Berlin. But this time it won't be any normal match, no. Adam Pearce announces it will be a no disqualification match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. This match is scheduled to be the opening match for Bash at Berlin. This is no disqualification to do some crazy things in this match, but eventually it's CM Punk who holds the tights of Drew McIntyre and picks up a roll-up win. So it's 1-1 in the feud between Punk and Drew McIntyre, and thus a third match is set at Bad Blood in a 3 stages of hell match. Finally, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre are main eventing a pay-per-view, and this match is crazy. It goes on for an hour, and this match is a 3 stages of hell match unlike any other. The first match between the two is an Extreme Rules match, so basically no disqualification. In this match, Drew McIntyre somehow picks up the win and defeats CM Punk, maybe via roll up or something, or maybe like 10 Claymore kicks. The second match is an I Quit match, and of course it's CM Punk who wins the I Quit match, making Drew McIntyre quit. And the third match between the two is a Hell in a Cell match. Eventually, the match ends with CM Punk grabbing the same chain which Drew McIntyre used to beat him in their first match. He wraps it around his knee and he goes for the go to sleep, connecting both men busted open, bleeding buckets and gallons as CM Punk pins Drew McIntyre and picks up the win. Thus, CM Punk wins in the trilogy between Drew and himself. Now, you're probably wondering, 5 minutes and 49 seconds. Of course, I'm not making a video that short. Punk and McIntyre both laid down, busted open as they are on the floor. Punk can't even get up. He can't even celebrate because Drew McIntyre has taken him to another level. And out comes a hooded figure. Super kick, frog splash, and a curve stomp, revealing himself to be Seth Rollins, laying out both CM Punk and Drew McIntyre in the middle of the ring. Drew McIntyre looks practically dead. CM Punk looks finished as Seth Rollins stands tall to end bad blood, and there is definitely bad blood between all three of these men. Drew McIntyre is announced to be out injured with a broken nose and some sort of injury. Adam Pearce will figure that one out. So Drew McIntyre is injured and CM Punk calls out Seth Rollins on the next edition of Raw. His call out is answered by an online promo of Rollins. Rollins says he has no time to be where Punk is. Punk is an irrelevant wrestler who has nothing to do in life except cry. He can only cry about things, and that's why he's not a top wrestler in the company. Seth, on the other hand, he focuses on the bigger picture, and thus Seth Rollins is a Grand Slam champion. This eventually leads to a match between CM Punk and Seth Rollins at Survivor Series. In this match, we don't have the heel-face dynamic quite as explored. It's as their feud was in the start of January, where they were going to have a match at WrestleMania. So there's no proper heel and no proper face. Also in this feud, we get a house invasion by Seth Rollins, similar to that of when Seth Rollins invaded Edge's house. Anyways, the match is set by Adam Pearce, Seth Rollins versus CM Punk at Survivor Series. This will co-main event the show, and both men give it their all. As expected, almost a classic between the two. The match ends in a screwy way though, as CM Punk on the outside hits a go-to-sleep on Seth Rollins on the table, but at the same time Seth Rollins hits a low blow on CM Punk. Both men are unable to get up and it leads to a double count out. Of course, no feud can end on a double count out, and therefore Adam Pearce makes another match official between Seth Rollins and CM Punk at the Royal Rumble. However, since there was a count out in the last match to prevent that, it'll be a false count anywhere match between the two. And as I've said maybe 10 times before in this video, this match is crazy. We get some cool spots, and since I'm allowed to do what I want, we get a go to sleep from the top of a scaffold, a curb stomp as Seth runs on the two commentary tables and then stomps Punk on the ring bell. He has some crazy spots. Again, both men are busted open because of blood feud, right? So both men are busted open, both men are laid out. They're near the Rumble stage. In fact, I wanted them to continue their match during the Royal Rumble itself. Nobody wins and the Royal Rumble match just starts. But then that would be too confusing. The really smart and intellectual WWE fans totally wouldn't be confused. So the match continues. Both men are laid out as Drew McIntyre returns from his injury, claymoring Punk, Rollins, using the same steel chain that Punk used to beat him, and whipping both men. He leaves both men beaten down as he takes Seth Rollins' lifeless body, plops it over Punk's lifeless body, allowing Seth Rollins to beat Punk in the Falls Count Anywhere match. But is this really a win for Seth Rollins? He did nothing to surmount this win, and therefore we get a triple threat match between the three men. The three men that hate each other: CM Punk, Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. Finally, the three of them get the main event that they so wanted in front of the audience. Punk gets his Mania main event, Seth actually gets a credible and good main event, and Drew McIntyre main events in front of the fans. This match doesn't need the WWE title. In the build-up to the match, we get all-out brawls. In fact, these three men brawl throughout the entire episode of SmackDown, just hitting each other for 2 hours, laying each other out. We get CM Punk tossing Seth Rollins into the ocean, and Seth burning CM Punk's house in Chicago. We get some crazy stuff because I'm allowed to do like irrational stuff because I get to book. The match at WrestleMania is set: Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. And as for the winner, well, I'm gonna leave you in a cliffhanger here.